Discovery of neutron. In earlier we discussed about that about the nucleus and as well as some of the isotopes, isobars and isotones and isomers. According to their the nucleus is having that nucleons, that is the protons and neutrons are combined, we called as nucleons, and its atomic number and atomic mass number, and also some of the atomic mass unit, that is AMU, we have discussed in earlier videos. Now we are going to know about the discovery of neutron. Discovery of neutron. Neutron was discovered by, we know that as well as James Chadwick. James Chadwick is given he discovered an about the neutron. He discovered the neutron and named a neutron. Means before the Chadwick, Booth and Baker has given some of the idea about the neutrons. Whenever the beryllium was bombered with the alpha particles, means alpha particles which are having the energy of 5 mega electron volts. So in that of whenever the beryllium is bombered with the helium, that is the nuclei of helium is considered as alpha particles. So which is having the energy of 5 mega electron volts, energy of alpha particles are bombered with the beryllium. Then some of the from the whenever the polonium source is used, then it emitted some of the high penetrating radiation from the source. Whenever bombered from the beryllium, that radiation has emitted very high penetrated through the lead thickness, the high thickness of lead, the radiation is penetrated through it. He told that is the beryllium radiation. He examined and he both given the idea about that the radiation which is not affected by the electric and magnetic fields, so that the radiation is nothing but gamma rays. Booth and Baker is given idea about the gamma rays. But whenever Booth and Baker given some of idea when the beryllium is bombered with the alpha particles of energy 5 mega electron volts, high penetrating energy is high penetrating radiation is emitted, could pass through the very thickness of the lead sheets. So that, but that properties of gamma rays which is not matched with the Booth and Baker beryllium radiation which is emitted by doing this experiment, that does not match the properties of gamma rays. So that beryllium radiation is having something more than that. After that, Frederick given some of the idea by using the nitrogen, argon, paper, paraffin wax in the front of that high penetrating. Whenever the beryllium radiation is emitted from the fourth source, then by using the paraffin wax, paper, like that water, he examined that, Frederick examined that whenever the beryllium radiation is instant penetrated through the paraffin wax, it emitted the protons, high energy of protons which can be emitted of radiation which is having that 7 mega electron volts, which is required for the neutrons is 55 mega electron volts of energy which is required. But actually the energy of alpha particles which is bombered with the beryllium is having that 5 mega electron volts. So that Frederick given an idea that the gamma rays are wrong. The Frederick told that the gamma rays are wrong. After that, James Chadwick has given an idea about an experimental arrangement, that is the new kind of particles which are emitted from the beryllium. Whenever the beryllium source is bombered with the alpha particles of energy 5 mega electron volts, some of the new kind of particles are emitted from that. Those particles are having that neutral charge. Those particles are having that neutral charge, so that named as neutrons. Here is that when in 1932 James Chadwick has subjected nitrogen argon to the beryllium radiation. Nitrogen argon has given that. So he subjected that one. So he applied the principles of James Chadwick is applied the principles of elastic collision, and he concluded that the new particles have the mass which is roughly is equal to the proton. Means the particles which are emitted from the polonium source, alpha particles are emitted from the polonium source as bombered with the beryllium, and through the beryllium radiation is emitted. So that those beryllium radiation are the new particles are emitted from that, and also that new particles are having the neutral. So that the name as neutrons. Here James Chadwick given some of the ideas by the equation. According to the equation also, Booth and Baker has assumed that equation also. Whenever the beryllium is bombarded with the helium, means it is the alpha particles. Alpha particles. We can say that the nucleus of an helium atom is a alpha particles. Nucleus of helium atom is called as a alpha particles. What is meant by the alpha particles? Means the nucleus of helium atom is a alpha particles. So that both and bracket is given by Bamber this one. Then some of the radiation, that is gamma radiation, is emitted. He assumed that, but after that he has given some idea. Chadwick given that according to the beryllium bambered with the helium, means alpha particles of energy 5 mega electron volts, and some of the carbon, and at the same time these neutrons are emitted with some of the energy, and energy also emitted from that, is 55 mega electron volts energy as emitted. Chadwick was awarded with the Nobel Prize for the discovery of a neutron. For the discovery of neutron, James Chadwick has awarded with a Nobel Prize. So the experimental arrangement has given by the James Chadwick. So let's see the experimental arrangement of James Chadwick. This is the experimental arrangement by James Chadwick. Here, this is the source, polonium source, means alpha particles are emitted from the polonium source, and these are the alpha particles moving from the slit. This is the slit, and this is beryllium is bambered with alpha particles are bambered with the beryllium. Then next, it is done in the vacuum chamber. This is a vacuum chamber, and this one is the paraffin, and this is a ionization chamber through the window. This is about experimental arrangement by the Chadwick. Let's see what the functioning is happened. When the alpha particles are emitted from a polonium source, this is the polonium source. From the, whenever the alpha particles are emitted from a polonium source, is allowed to pass through the slit and bambered with the beryllium target. This is the beryllium target. Beryllium target, and through in a vacuum chamber. Once again, the alpha particles are emitted from the polonium source is allowed to bamber the beryllium target in the vacuum chamber, and the particles are nothing but neutrons. Already James Chadwick has given the name of that one. The new particles are named the new particles are a neutral and named as a neutrons. So that neutrons are subjected to incident on the, or allowed to be incident on the paraffin wax. Whenever the paraffin black, the incident particles and neutrons are incident on the paraffin wax, high energy protons are expelled from the paraffin wax. High energy protons are expelled from the paraffin wax. The protons which are then allowed to pass through the window to the ionization chamber, through a window, so that the ionization current due to the protons were amplified and measured with the help of the electrometer. Here, this is the ionization chamber. Whenever the alpha particles are bambered with the beryllium target and the neutrons are emitted, and it is allowed to incident on the paraffin, and high energy, whenever it emits the high energy protons which are allowed to pass through a window into the ionization chamber, and that ionization chamber through a window, whenever the ionization current due to the protons are entered into this one, so that here due to that protons current due to that is amplified and measured with the help of a electrometer. This is the function of experimental arrangement of by the Chadwick to discover the neutrons. Here is whenever he amplified the charges, the protons are emitted from this paraffin wax, then neutrons are, we can get that, so that we can get the neutrons. He named the charges are the highly penetrated charges are called gamma rays, and also the neutrons are did not affected by the electric and magnetic fields. So that's why we can say that the gamma rays are neutrons. So that about the experiment, the James Chadwick got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of a neutron. This is about discovery of a neutron. Properties of neutrons. After discovering about James Chadwick has discovered neutrons and he got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of neutron. The emitted neutrons, the some of property, they will behave some properties, that the properties of neutrons will be. We know that neutron is an uncharged particle, and as well as it does not affected by the electric and magnetic fields. That is the property of number 1 is so it is due to the uncharged particle, it does not deflected by the electric and magnetic field. Means if in case of electric or magnetic fields are applied, if that body, if that particle is having the charge, it can be attracted by the opposite charge, or if the body is diffract, means repulsed by the like charge. Without uncharging, the neutrons cannot be deflected by the electric and magnetic fields, because of whenever the electric and magnetic fields are applied to that one, then some of the positive and negative charges are applied to that particle. Then that cannot be attracted and repulsed by that magnetic and electric field. So that's why here neutron is uncharged particle, and hence it is not deflected by the electric and magnetic fields. That is the property of number 1. The second one is we know that the mass of proton, but the mass of proton and mass of neutron both are nearly equal together. That is, mass of proton will be 938.28 mega electron volts per c square, means mass of neutron will be 939.573 mega electron volts per c square. Here the both mass of proton and mass of neutron both are nearly equal. There is 938 and it is 939.7573, it is 938.28. So both mass of the proton and neutron nearly equal. And one more thing is due to that it is not deflecting with the electric and magnetic fields, or means attracted by the, it is not attracted by the like charges, or repulsed by the like charges, or attracted by the like charges, because of it is having the no charge, means it is an uncharged particle. So that this penetrating power is more, so that it is an uncharged particle, so it cannot ionize that. And whenever it is penetrating through the any medium, then it cannot ionize that medium. So that the penetrating power is high and ionizing power is low of the neutrons. And the neutrons are stable whenever it in the nucleus. Whenever they are in the nucleus, the particles means the neutrons are very stable. But the average life of a neutron is 1000 seconds. 1000 seconds. The average life of neutrons are 1000 seconds. For here, for it's say for a isolated neutron. If the free neutron is spontaneously decay, means if it is explodes, means a free neutron is unstable. That cannot, that whenever it is exposed, means that is spontaneously that will decay into this. Then proton, electron and anti-neutrino will be formed. Means whenever the neutron decays spontaneously, this means the free neutron, that is not isolated neutron. Isolated neutron is stable in nucleus, and at the same time the free neutron is unstable. So that if it is spontaneously decays, then one proton and one electron and anti-neutrino, that nuclear is considered as anti-neutrino. It will give this amount of proton, neutron and anti-neutrino. In that chart we know that whenever the neutrons are incident on the paraffin wax, the high energy of protons are emitted through the paraffin wax, and it is entered through the window and into the ionizing chamber, and it is amplified, that current amplified, and it is measured by the electrometer. So that whenever the neutron spontaneously decays, then one proton, electron and anti-neutrino will be formed. Then the next one is if the fast neutrons passes through the some of the substances like paraffin wax, heavy water, graphite. If the neutrons are passes through the paraffin wax or heavy water, means some of the medium which is having the density, high density, that is the heavy water, paraffin wax, graphite type of items, the speed of the neutrons will be slowed down, means the velocity, the speed will be decreases, they are slowed down. And neutrons are they are diffracted by the crystals. Whenever the crystal is placed in the path of the path of the neutrons, that will be diffracted, means that will be affected, means the neutrons are diffracted by the crystals. This is about the properties of a neutron.